Indigenous languages thrived on Turtle Island. More than 500 years ago, settlers arrived and brought with them their languages. Through many devastating events such as genocide, linguistic imperialism, colonialism, new disease, forced relocation, as well as the most likely influential factor, the enforcement of English and French-only residential schools for all Indigenous children. Duncan Campbell Scott served as the Deputy Superintendent of the Department of Indian Affairs from 1913 to 1932. Scott said, "I want to get rid of the Indian problem. I do not think, as a matter of fact, that the country ought to continually protect a class of people who are able to stand alone. Our objective is to continue until there is not a single Indian in Canada that has not been absorbed into the body." Our people. Our stallion people were brought to these residential institutions. They were taken away from their families to be colonized and assimilated. Some never came home. Our language was not to be spoken, and if it was, the children would be beaten or worse. Over the decades, trauma and intergenerational trauma poisoned our people. We are now fighting as a nation to keep our language and our traditions alive, to ground ourselves and recover our identities and pass that knowledge to our children so they know what it means to be stallion and in turn be rooted to their identity.
When you understand the land and the language, it ties you into the land and the language, who you are. Yeah. So that's what you guys are trying to do now. Trying to understand yourself as Ukami and through the land and the language. Yeah. So,
Strategies coming together. We need to be working together with all communities in our nation. We need a whole nation approach to bring back our language. We need to help each other. We need to share our resources with each other. We need to apply for funding collaboratively to get bigger language projects funded as a nation. The next generation needs to step up and get involved.
I'm Nora Greenway from Kilkit, and I'm from the Retasket family. I'm of the Retasket family. You guys are the generation that is going to keep it going, because now with CETA gone, we have Marilyn that's semi-fluent, but she has no one to talk with. We need the younger people using the language in order for it to survive.
Everyday social language. We have resources to learn our language from home for everyday social language. We need to speak at any level.
Keep practicing it, That's what I'd say. You keep repetition on it, you keep using it. Wherever you meet, try to use a language on them, It's like, because wow, just like what you got there. Because wow, why go ahead, so I'm skuncha today, whatever, Then you'll get a feedback, if they know the language, if they don't know you, then they say, Shwetko. And you say, who are you? And they'll tell you who they are. And you'll have to tell who you are to them too. They don't know you too. So you have to say who you are, where you're from, who your parents are.
Keep going with it. Doesn't matter what you know. Keep saying it, hand it down to the younger ones, to your babies.
Decolonizing the colonial systems in learning. We need to create immersive environments. Language nests is when there is a space for families to come together around fluent speakers and only speak in the language. Little people encouraged. Land-based approach. We can teach our children what it means to be stallion by showing them the spirit of the land, to work on the land, and teach them what our mother brings us. We were We're a people who were humble. We had humility. We were caretakers of the land. Let's learn and teach our children our territory of rivers, mountains, and lakes. Let's teach them how to hunt and fish and harvest food, gather medicines in the language. Our ancestors speak to us through the land. We are Ojomiuk.
Like talking to ancestors in a language. And I talk to them, you know. They don't really answer me back, but I feel they do.
Mm-hmm.
I talk in the language to them all the time. I that feeling, that's all. I feel they hear me when I talk to them. They hear me what I'm saying, even though they don't spiritually talk back to me. I just can feel it, you know. Those things, you know. Those things, you know. Yeah, I will see you again.